Episode of Pardon the Interruption. I'm here with Chris and Jake. Today we have a beautiful Taco Tuesday episode here at Villanova University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And to kick off the break on this 30-minute show, we have some quick time on our hands. We're going to talk about Super Bowl predictions. I think next year it's in Las Vegas or Indianapolis. Chris, I'm going to start with you. Who do you think is going to win next year's Super Bowl?
I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel like they have a top 3 wide receiver core in the NFL. Joe Burrow has he has a 70% accuracy, which is the most accurate quarterback in the game right now. They still have a solid defense, and they just brought in Orlando Brown from the Kansas City Chiefs to help out their offensive line. So I'm taking the Bengals.
Now, while I do respect your pick, and don't get me wrong, I do, but I think you do have to look at the fact that they did lose Jesse Bates in free agency. That offensive line didn't perform to the level that they had hoped last year, and they did have to bring in Orlando Brown. It's still a very questionable team, in my opinion. Certainly I do think the pieces are there, but I don't think they're fully there. That's why for my pick, I am going to be taking a little bit of an unexpected pick. However, I do think their division is relatively weak and does give them a pretty easy path to the Super Bowl if they happen to win the division. That's why I'm going to pick the Carolina Panthers. I truly do believe that all the pieces are there. You have a quarterback, you have a head coach. They have a ton of great free agent acquisitions. They picked up Adam Thielen. They picked up, of course, the one tight end as well, too, blanking on the name. But my point is that this team has everything. Not to mention the defense was already solid. Derek Brown is going to have a great year. Of course, I love Jeremy Chin as well, too. J.C. Horn. This is a really exciting team. And in my opinion, I think the NFC South, which is relatively weak, is up for the taking. And what better time to do it than right now?
I think it's interesting, but I will say this. The Carolina Panthers finished 30th in offensive rankings on the offensive line, which they have not really improved going into the draft other than bringing in Chandler Zavala in the 4th round from NC State. And then also, if you look at their offensive performance, they were dead last in quarterback rankings, and they have been ever since Cam Newton got injured in the 2018 season. So the Carolina Panthers offensively have not gotten anywhere. I 100% agree on the defense. I believe they have the most underrated defense in the NFL. But that offense is interesting. Now, Bryce Young, his ceiling is high, but he's not that tall. And
look, that doesn't, in my opinion, of course, not to cut you off, of course, I think you're right. The potential is there. And let's be honest, quarterbacks have done it before. Look at Drew Brees. Drew Brees wasn't all that tall. Look what he was able to do. Yes, you're right. This team does have the history of being a little bit weaker, especially with the offensive line and quarterback play, but this is a different team. Of course, I know the offensive line isn't great, but Ike Ekwonu going into his second year, I think he's going to be fantastic. Bryce Young, this is a Heisman winner. This guy is a proven winner. This isn't like Baker Mayfield where there's some questionable choices. This is it. This is the guy that is here to save the Carolina Panthers. I'll be honest, I was shocked when they took him. Didn't think he was the right pick, but I am all in on him. He's a terrific leader. You're going to get the performance on the field, and having Frank Reich as his head coach is going to do wonders for him.
what I would also like to say is that Joe Burrow is also a Heisman winner and a national championship winner with wide receiver Jamar Chase. And like I said, I think they have a top 3 wide receiver core in the NFL. Burrow to Chase has been elite. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. I know the Bengals defense did take a downgrade. They also lost Von Bell to the Carolina Panthers. But that secondary, it wasn't really that big of an issue in the postseason run last year.
Of course, it wasn't, but you have to look at this year. Again, like you said, they lost Von Bell and Jesse Bates. They're 2 starting safeties. That's a huge hit for any team, especially because they didn't have great cornerback play either. This is a team that did get a little bit weaker in the offseason. Yes, you're right. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, fantastic connection. But the issue is that they did have that when they went to the Super Bowl. They had that last year. Teams are starting to figure them out. Of course, while I do like the Bengals and I love Joe Burrow, I do think there are going to be some very, very difficult decisions this team is going to have to make in the near future.
I'm going to have to end it there. The Panthers are picked by Jake here. Their quarterback is the size of a bunk-aid camper, and the Panthers have not played in the playoffs in at least about 5 years or so. Trish has the Bengals, but their secondary is about more banged up than the old Los Angeles Lakers these days. I can count 4 teams on my fingers that are better. I can get the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, and the 49ers. That is all that we have for PTI during this commercial break. Coming back up next, we're going to talk about the merger between Live and PGA, how we feel about the Saudis taking over America's pastime. We'll be right back after this. You're watching PTI. Pardon the interruption.